No one saw this coming. For years, fans were convinced that Jason Momoa and Emilia Clarke shared one of Hollywood's most genuine and unbreakable friendships. Their bond, forged on the set of Game of Thrones, seemed like something out of a fairy tale, playful, loyal, and inseparable. Their off-screen connection appeared magical, and many believed it was a rare example of authentic, lasting friendship in the entertainment industry. But now, in a revelation that has left fans stunned, Jason Momoa is finally opening up. What he shared about his relationship with Emilia Clarke is deeply surprising, and far from the story fans thought they knew. This isn't the perfect friendship the world imagined. In fact, it's not even close. So, what truly happened between them? And why is Jason speaking out now? Get ready, because this changes everything. How the bond began. Jason Momoa and Emilia Clarke's famous friendship began back in 2010 when they were cast as the iconic couple Khal Drogo and Daenerys Targaryen on Game of Thrones. On screen, their dynamic was powerful and intense, often emotionally and physically charged. But behind the scenes, their relationship was full of warmth, respect, and care. From their very first meeting, a real bond began to form, one that would quickly grow into one of television's most cherished friendships. Despite playing a fierce warlord, Jason was known among the cast as gentle, kind, and deeply protective, especially of Emilia. During the show's early episodes, which involved difficult and emotional intimate scenes, he went out of his way to make sure she felt safe and supported. Emilia later spoke openly about how he cared for her during those vulnerable moments, calling him a giant teddy bear and praising his efforts to make her feel comfortable when the cameras stopped rolling. Their connection extended far beyond the set. Jason often showed his support through thoughtful gestures, like the time he gifted Emilia a fluffy pink bathrobe after a particularly draining shoot. It was a simple yet heartfelt act meant to lift her spirits. The two often unwound together after filming, sharing drinks, laughs, and stories. Their chemistry was unmistakable at public events like Comic-Con, where fans were thrilled to see Jason playfully lift Emilia in the air, their joy infectious. What they shared wasn't just for the cameras, it was a real, powerful friendship that seemed to transcend fame and distance. Even after Jason's character left the show, his friendship with Emilia only deepened. In 2019, years after his departure, Jason made headlines when he flew all the way to London just to surprise her at her birthday party, a grand gesture that highlighted the strength of their bond. But in truth, their friendship had already been tested long before that. A bond forged in adversity. In 2011, just after wrapping the first season of Game of Thrones, Emilia Clarke suffered a life-threatening brain aneurysm at only 24. She underwent emergency surgery and kept her ordeal private, but Jason was one of the few who knew. He later admitted he was devastated by the news and nearly cried when he found out. From then on, he became fiercely protective, checking in often and calling her a warrior for surviving such a traumatic event. Jason wasn't the only one dealing with struggles. Even during filming, he endured extreme physical challenges, punishing stunts, harsh conditions, and exhausting scenes that left him bruised and worn down. Emilia admired his resilience, having witnessed it firsthand. Both carried invisible wounds, his from the demands of the role, hers from the battle for her health. Their mutual respect only grew stronger through the shared experience of pain and perseverance. The hardships didn't end there. In 2013, Emilia suffered a second, even more dangerous aneurysm. Recovery was long and terrifying, leaving her with severe memory loss and fears that she might never act again. Jason remained her rock through it all, bringing humor and strength when everything felt uncertain. He often reminded her how talented and irreplaceable she was. While the world focused on fame, Jason offered what Emilia needed most, emotional safety. Their friendship was tested again in 2016 when Emilia lost her beloved father. It was one of the most devastating times in her life. Jason reached out once again, offering love and support from afar, proving that distance and time zones meant nothing when it came to their bond. Reversing roles and standing strong. But the roles reversed in 2022 when Jason Momoa faced personal heartbreak. he announced his painful split from his wife of 16 years, Lisa Bonet, a deeply public and emotional breakup. This time, Emilia was the one offering strength. She shared warm, nostalgic photos of them together and called him the man, the myth, the legend, a quiet but powerful sign that, no matter what happened in his personal life, her friendship would always remain. Their friendship wasn't just built on emotional moments, it was also shaped by shared struggles in their careers. Before Aquaman made Jason a global superstar in 2018, he endured years of rejection and financial stress, often being typecast. Emilia, too, worried her career might be over after her health issues. But she stood by Jason's side, cheering for his talent and dedication long before the rest of the world took notice. Together, through medical emergencies, loss, heartbreak, injuries, and career lows, Jason and Emilia created something rare in Hollywood, a friendship that was raw, loyal, and deeply real. But even the strongest bonds can weaken under the weight of fame. Cracks in the connection. Despite their efforts to protect their friendship, fame came with hidden costs. As public interest in their dynamic grew, so did the pressure and expectations placed upon them. Over time, these unseen forces started to wear down the bond that once seemed indestructible. As they moved on from Game of Thrones, their lives began to head in different directions. Jason's career soared as he landed major roles in Aquaman, Dune, and other blockbuster hits, becoming a global action icon. Emilia, though praised for her talent and elegance, faced a more uneven path. Some of her film projects received mixed reviews, and her box office results weren't always strong. This growing gap in their career trajectories didn't go unnoticed, especially by the public. The strain in Jason Momoa and Emilia Clarke's friendship began to surface during the 2023 Sundance Film Festival, triggered by Jason's late arrival to an event where Emilia was already present. This moment sparked a media frenzy, shifting attention from Emilia's work to Jason, whose presence dominated the headlines. Whispers quickly spread that Emilia felt sidelined, with her moment overshadowed by the larger-than-life figure she once referred to as Big Bear. More damaging than any single event, however, was the increasing cruelty of online commentary. The media often compared their careers, sometimes unfairly, with Emilia's choice to pursue smaller, character-driven roles being mocked in contrast to Jason's blockbuster success. Memes belittling her indie films emerged, suggesting bitterness or envy, while tabloid headlines raised provocative questions such as, "Is Emilia Clarke struggling to match Momoa's success?" This narrative painted a distorted picture, portraying Jason's rise as effortless, while Emilia's journey was reduced to struggle and stagnation. Although neither publicly addressed the growing speculation, the strain between them became harder to ignore. Behind the scenes, what had once been a friendship built on mutual admiration reportedly began to fray. The emotional toll of constant media scrutiny, compounded by imbalanced media portrayals and growing professional distance, introduced a silence that hadn't existed before. They were no longer just Jason and Emilia, the friends who once shared laughter, bathrobes, and whiskey. Instead, they had become unwilling participants in a public comparison, with their every interaction dissected and analyzed. While outsiders may have dismissed the comments as mere noise, insiders noted that they planted seeds of resentment that neither could shake. The rumors of jealousy intensified when other women entered the picture. Over time, public speculation and fan-driven cruelty seeped deeper into their friendship. What had once been admiration for their authentic bond gradually became invasive, judgmental, and, at times, deeply hurtful. As online commentary grew bolder, fans who once celebrated their closeness twisted their narrative into one of jealousy and decline. A central element in this shift was Jason's relationships with high-profile women. While his bond with his wife, Lisa Bonet, had always been known and respected, his continued associations with actresses like Amber Heard and Isa Gonzalez ignited unsettling fan-driven narratives. Every time Jason posted a tribute or appeared with one of these women, the comment sections exploded with sarcastic jabs directed at Emilia. Remarks like "Emilia's crying right now" or "Poor Casey watching from the sidelines" became commonplace. Though these comments were often dismissed as harmless banter by onlookers, their cumulative effect painted a cruel and humiliating picture, one that reduced Emilia's dignity to a meme and mocked a friendship that had once symbolized safety and support. The digital mockery, relentless and increasingly personal, likely began to erode the trust and comfort that had defined their connection. The very fans who once adored their playful dynamic began to weaponize that history, turning past affection into present tension. Though neither Jason nor Emilia publicly addressed the shift, rumors circulated among industry insiders that Emilia eventually confronted Jason. According to unconfirmed reports, she expressed concern over the growing emotional distance between them and the corrosive impact of constant media speculation. However, what was likely meant to be an honest conversation between friends reportedly took an unexpected turn. Something about the exchange, the emotional weight, the timing, or the cumulative pressure, crossed a line. That moment, according to those close to the pair, marked a subtle but unmistakable turning point. The easy laughter, inside jokes, and unwavering loyalty that once defined their bond began to fade. Though they remained cordial in public, the spark of their vibrant friendship seemed to dim. What was once a rare, resilient connection slowly unraveled, not due to betrayal or wrongdoing, but under the weight of external judgment, distorted narratives, and unspoken hurt. For Jason and Emilia, the path back to what they once had now felt distant, and as time went on, it became evident that some friendships, no matter how treasured, can falter when too many voices attempt to rewrite the story. It wasn't until early 2023, far from Westeros but under the same watchful eyes, that these quiet tensions finally came to the surface, the breakdown at the Sundance Festival, when friendly banter turned bitter. The tension between Jason Momoa and Emilia Clarke, which had quietly simmered beneath the surface for some time, came to a head at the 2023 Sundance Film Festival in Park City, Utah. Both stars were there for professional reasons, though for different projects. Emilia Clarke had arrived for the premiere of her futuristic romantic drama The Pod Generation, while Jason Momoa was in town promoting Deep Rising, a hard-hitting environmental documentary he narrated. Given their Game of Thrones history and enduring friendship, their reunion at Sundance sparked excitement both from fans and industry insiders. But everything changed later that evening, backstage, shortly after the screening of The Pod Generation. During an exclusive industry mixer, held for the film's cast, crew, and a select group of special guests, Jason and Emilia were in the middle of their usual playful exchange when things took an uncomfortable turn. In his typical larger-than-life style, Jason reportedly teased loudly enough for those nearby to hear, "Only one of us turned Westeros into a billion-dollar box office." To some, it may have seemed like Jason being his usual playful self, maybe even a bit proud, but to Emilia, it was a painful reminder of the very thing she had quietly battled for years, the narrative that while Jason's career soared into blockbuster territory after Game of Thrones, hers was viewed through the lens of indie films, quieter roles, and health struggles that had sometimes sidelined her. Without hesitation, Emilia shot back, her voice cool but cutting, "And only one of us didn't need a costume to be remembered." It wasn't merely a dig at Jason's Aquaman success or superhero persona, it was a deeply personal reminder that her legacy as Daenerys Targaryen was built on raw, unforgettable performance, no special effects, no flashy armor, no billion-dollar franchise needed. The energy in the room shifted immediately. Laughter ceased, and conversation stalled. Those present exchanged awkward glances and fell into stunned silence. The playful atmosphere had vanished entirely. Though those within the small group hoped the uncomfortable exchange would stay behind closed doors, it didn't take long for the news to leak, first in festival circles, then spreading across social media like wildfire. Just like that, fans were left grappling with a harsh possibility: maybe the fairy tale friendship between Jason Momoa and Emilia Clarke wasn't as unbreakable as everyone had believed. The worst was still ahead. The leaked conversation from the set, the moment that completely shattered everything, delivered a crushing blow to the already fragile relationship between Jason Momoa and Emilia Clarke. In late 2024, a bombshell audio recording from the Fast X set found its way into the public eye. Originally meant to be a private conversation between Jason and a colleague, it quickly spread like wildfire, igniting a media frenzy and sparking intense public discussion. In the leaked recording, Jason allegedly expressed frustration about his former Game of Thrones co-star, making startling comments that cast a dark cloud over their once close bond. Among the most shocking revelations was Jason's claim that working with Emilia was harder than people knew. This statement implied that their friendship, which had long been portrayed as a close, mutual bond of trust and affection, might have been more complicated behind closed doors. The situation became even more contentious when Jason allegedly said that Emilia's sweet public persona was nothing more than an illusion. This accusation, cloaked in professional frustration, left fans stunned, as they had always associated Emilia with warmth, kindness, and authenticity. To hear that someone so close to her had a vastly different view of her personality was a revelation that many found difficult to process. However, the most explosive part of the leak came from what Jason allegedly said in the heat of the moment. According to those close to the situation, his words were blunt, off guard, and never meant to go public. "She was disgusting," Jason reportedly muttered, not about Emilia as a person, but about how difficult she could be to deal with during certain moments or heated conversations. His words were raw, unfiltered, and said in frustration. But once those 3 words leaked, context didn't matter. "She was disgusting" became the headline, and just like that, a private conversation between 2 old friends spiraled into a public storm neither of them could control. The internet exploded, fans took sides, and the world eagerly awaited their responses. The leaked audio of Jason Momoa's private comments about Emilia Clarke created a firestorm across social media, sending shockwaves through various platforms. Fans, both longtime and new, rushed to Emilia's defense, rallying behind her with a sense of outrage and disbelief. Videos celebrating her kindness, resilience, and professionalism flooded social media, many featuring clips from Game of Thrones or interviews where Emilia had demonstrated her warmth and generosity. "She didn't deserve any of this" quickly became a rallying cry for those who had long admired her, with fans voicing their disapproval of Jason's harsh words. Ironically, many of the same fans who were now defending Emilia had once played a role in the slow unraveling of her friendship with Jason. These supporters had relentlessly fueled the playful yet provocative banter between the 2 actors, often egging on the public perception of their bond. They had been quick to praise their chemistry, but just as quick to turn on them when cracks began to show. Now, in the wake of the leaked audio, they were rewriting their own narrative, positioning themselves as the defenders of Emilia's dignity against an alleged betrayal. Meanwhile, Jason's supporters began to rally in defense of their favorite star. Many argued that the audio was taken out of context and that Jason, known for his larger-than-life personality, was simply venting in a private conversation. "Everyone needs a moment to release frustrations," one fan posted, suggesting that Jason's comments were just a slip of the tongue after a stressful day on set. Others pointed out that Jason and Emilia had shared a deep friendship for years and that one leaked conversation shouldn't define their entire relationship. Amid the heated exchanges, PR experts weighed in, offering strategies for both Jason and Emilia to address the fallout. For Jason, the advice was clear: he needed to confront the situation head-on, preferably in a controlled setting like an interview with GQ or Hot Ones, where he could clarify his remarks and, hopefully, repair his public image. For Emilia, known for her subtlety and grace, experts speculated that a cryptic Instagram post about loyalty or betrayal might serve as a quiet but powerful response. However, the reality was that neither option would be easy. The damage to both of their reputations was too significant to fix with a well-crafted soundbite or a simple social media post. As the situation unfolded, a new narrative started to emerge: the possibility that the audio was fabricated. Doubts began to creep in. Was the audio even real? Initially, the internet was united in its fury and heartbreak, convinced that Jason Momoa had crossed an unforgivable line. But as time passed, something unexpected began to happen. The once clear-cut narrative started to unravel. People began asking a simple yet powerful question: wait, has anyone actually heard the audio? This question changed everything. Across social media, comments flooded in, echoing the same strange realization: for all the outrage, very few people could claim to have actually heard the clip themselves. "I've been reading all these reactions, but where's the audio? Anyone got a link?" one user posted. Another said, "Haven't even heard the audio, just been reading about it online." It seemed as though the scandal had gone viral without a source, a storm of anger fueled by second-hand information. For many, this alone planted seeds of doubt. Some claimed they had heard it, those who caught the clip in the early, chaotic moments before it mysteriously vanished from most platforms. Those who listened described a strange pattern. The audio leaked, spread for a few hours, then disappeared. Videos were deleted, tweets were removed, and TikTok videos were suddenly unavailable. Even accounts that had shared the audio began deleting posts. Speculation about PR intervention ran wild. Had Jason's team stepped in? Emilia's? No one knew for sure, but the timing was suspicious. Then came the Great Divide. Some who heard the audio insisted it sounded completely fake. They described odd pauses, awkward cuts, and a mechanical quality to Jason's voice. It was like someone pieced random sentences together, one person wrote. "Definitely sounded AI or edited." Others were convinced it was real, swearing that it was Jason. "I know his voice, his tone. It wasn't clean audio, but that was him," one user asserted. This clash of opinions only intensified the firestorm. Now, it wasn't just about what Jason allegedly said, it was about whether he even said it at all. This uncertainty left the world holding its breath. Would Jason finally break his silence and set the record straight? Would he apologize, clarify, or even deny the clip entirely? And what about Emilia, known for her grace and composure? Would she address the situation, or stay silent, letting her dignity speak louder than words? As tension built, one thing became clear: this was no longer just about a leaked audio clip. It was about trust, friendship, and the darker side of fame, where even private words, whether real or fake, can spiral into a global scandal. And for Jason Momoa and Emilia Clarke, two stars whose friendship once seemed untouchable, the question wasn't just about what was said backstage at Sundance. It was about what would happen next. Would their friendship survive the storm? Would the truth ever come out? And perhaps most haunting of all, in a world driven by rumors, outrage, and viral chaos, did the truth even matter anymore? Either way, the world is watching, waiting. What do you think about the leaked audio? Do you think Jason truly said that? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.